So.
Good evening, everybody.
Sorry.
And welcome to the Health and Wellness Show here on COARadio.com.
Wait a second.
And our musical director is just not on it tonight.
Well, I put my capo on wrong. So let me give you a proper beginning. Give me one. There we go.
Thank you so much, and everybody, for listening to COARadio.com. I am your host, Marianne Costello of the Health and Wellness Show, and we are happy to be back in studio. We weren't here in July because our musical director, as you know, is part of the legendary rock band Nectar, and we were in studio for 2 weeks in July recording their 50th anniversary album. So welcome back, Rich.
Thank you. Yep, I'm back.
So am I.
All in one piece. You were there too. Yep.
It was quite an experience.
That's great.
It was really great. And also, just want to let you know, I know I announced on the last show, our guest had an unfortunate emergency. So we found a great guest for tonight's show. And I'm so excited. Without further ado, our special guest tonight is a cannabis advocate who is here to give us his knowledge on the very hot and controversial topic of CBD, also known as cannabis. He is also able to show us how one can create and recreate themselves to follow their passion. He is a man that describes himself in his own words as a space traveler, benefactor of the human fund, pro-cannabis, lover of art, hater of smoke and mirrors. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the Health and Wellness Show tonight, Jay Petsko.
So, yeah, he's dug me up, and I'm happy to be here to fill this empty chair. But yeah, I'm all those things. In fact, we all are travelers in space. We run like a rock floating through space. So yeah, benefactor of the Human Fund. Yes, George Costanza hooked me up with that. And I absolutely hate smoke and mirrors. See too much of it these days. But yeah, I'm here to amuse you guys and myself. I hope I do a good job for you.
Oh, I know that you will.
I don't know. According to the show description, I thought we were going to be talking about smoking.
Well, we kind of are.
And mirror, no mirrors, just smoke.
And
yeah, I think we might talk a little bit about that.
We actually are going to be talking about that. And there's a lot to know about Jay Petsko. He is extremely knowledgeable in so many things, and it's just a fascinating personality. That's what you are. So I'm going to pick your brain about a couple of things, not everything.
My brain, but not my nose. And very, very complimentary to all the things you said. I like to say that I know a little bit about a lot of things. I don't know how helpful that is, but it definitely makes for good conversation. And yeah, here I am to enlighten you guys with my knowledge.
Well, I'm really glad to do that. And Art is our engineer this evening, Jay, and he is sitting there behind the controls making this all happen. So thank you, Art.
Thank you. Yeah.
Never wants to come on camera. Let's call him Tim the Tool Man.
Someone has to be Mr. Wilson.
Yep.
I'd like trade places with Art right now. To be honest with you.
But tonight you're in the hot seat.
Yeah,
and I love that you did this because I know it took a lot to do it. And
actually didn't take too much. I mean, you've helped me out enough, so she's already been bribing. I mean, she's been my friend for a while. So,
wow. Tell us how you really feel, Jack.
I think Marianne does a great job on everything she does, and I'm happy to help her out when I can.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well, we're going to get to this topic right now.
All right,
Okay,
let's
I just
do it.
want to get it. to know a little bit more about you, everybody. So, like, what is your background? Tell us a little bit about Jay.
Well, my background is in fine arts and kind of evolved into doing some marketing and photography and video, as well as due to some past endeavors being pro cannabis. And I'm not talking about just getting high. I'm talking about, cannabis is medicine. And I, studied extensively. By no means am I a pro. I'm definitely not a doctor. I can only tell you a little bit about my own experiences. But it doesn't take a genius to be able to read through the wealth of knowledge on the internet to find out, exactly what you need to know about anything in particular. But there's a lot of information about cannabis and more specifically CBD.
Right. And then I'm going to get into those details, and because I think you have a wealth of knowledge, you have been around cannabis, you have worked in places also, that deal with this. And so I know that your knowledge base is pretty extensive.
It is, but there's definitely, you're definitely going to find people that are better suited to answer your questions. I probably, in my opinion, I know a little bit more than the average guy. But I also read a lot, and I really encourage you to do the same. If you have any interest in anything cannabis or medicine, do your own research and draw your own conclusions, because that is what the internet is really meant for. Besides the normal stuff that you're surfing for, but realistically, you should really do your own research when it comes to this. But
It's important today. It's pretty important today.
I think so.
Yeah, the topic, and just for health reasons, and it's a kind of an important thing, controversial, but like it helps a lot of people.
Well, it is. And if you want to call in tonight, whether you have an experience to share, a question we could try to answer for you, we'd be happy to, or maybe even to direct you to the right place, as Jay's saying too. He might know some sources. You can call us at 609-241-7103. And by doing so, you might even win something. So we're going to just get right to it. And by all means, Art, I know you know quite a bit about this topic as well. Rich, for what you know as well.
He was a rock star at one point, so I think he knows it on a different level than the rest of us.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So just jumping right into our hot topic, my understanding is that you are a pro-cannabis advocate. So what piqued your interest with CBD, or else it's also called cannabis? CBD is the same thing?
Well, it's a different strain. It's definitely in the same family. The legal definition of CBD is containing less than 0.003% THC, which means, for anybody who has any questions about it, you could smoke a whole hell of a lot of CBD and you're never going to be high. So let's get that off the table right away. However, depending on what your usage of CBD is, you may actually, through a urine test, come up positive, depending on how much CBD you're taking, because being that there is 0.003, but I have not heard of anybody coming up that way yet. There's been rumors about it, but I mean, even if you're at a concert and you're inhaling the air, I can imagine you're probably getting the same amount taken in as you would for CBD. And I don't think that really shows up other than an incidental trace. So legally, CBD can probably be traced to having the illegal substance known as THC in your system, but I kind of highly doubt it. And I haven't heard of anybody that had that problem just yet.
And you don't feel it.
No, that's what I'm going to ask you. There's many products on the market that are containing, they call it, is it the proper name, cannabidiol or CBD, but not tetrahydrocannabinol, which is the THC.
Exactly.
Can you explain what this means between the two for people that don't understand the difference?
THC is a psychoactive chemical in cannabis. That's what gets you high, kids. CBD is the exact opposite. In fact, they're yin and yang. More specifically, if you in Colorado, where it's more prevalent because of the recreational and the medicinal values of it. Say a child was, got a hold of a CBD candy bar and ate it. Obviously, not a good thing. But CBD was what they would use to actually level out the amount of high. So basically, if you were to take equal amounts of CBD as you did THC, it'll level you out.
Oh.
In fact, that's what a lot of these, what's known as a 1-to-1 ratio. If you were to, if you had a CBD and a marijuana that's 1-to-1, whatever the percentage, whether it be 1 or 14%, it wouldn't get you high, but what you would get would be the medicinal benefits rather than being high. So that's what a lot of these like medical candies and substances are 1-to-1 ratio. I mean, you will not get high from it. And that's something that is pretty prevalent in Colorado. Not so much on the East Coast because we're in the Stone Age compared to Colorado and California.
Well, they do say that New Jersey is the pharmaceutical capital of the world, one of them.
Well, I'll get into that either now or later. But the one thing I will say to this is, if they really do legalize cannabis and really go the full gamut and study it, you're going to have a whole lot of people in traditional pharmaceutical pissed off because it's going to eat into their profits. And imagine that a plant that almost anyone can grow, depending on your area, once or twice a year, and it's going to eat into big pharma's profits. There's no wonder why that's illegal.
And as far as I know, I don't remember anyone dying from cannabis.
You could die if one of the bales they're like transporting from Mexico falls out of the plane and crushes you. Then you can die from the cannabis, but no one's ever overdosed from it. I mean, and no one's ever committed a violent crime. I think the biggest thing that people who are high can to worry is a bag of Doritos. I don't think you're ever going to worry about someone mugging an old
I think
lady.
I would rather have my children, you know what I mean, like do that than drink.
Well, it comes up to the question, is CBD safe? And there was a Dr. Dowett said that CBD is regarded as a food supplement that helps to bring balance to our bodies and minds by complementing or topping up the endocannabinoid system, which most are unable to create enough of, therefore causes imbalance. And the human body naturally creates cannabinoids, which are used by the endocannabinoid system to maintain balance, homeostasis. That's what the homeostasis means, folks, balance within the body. And the endocannabinoid system has been long regarded as the most important system in the body for maintaining long-term health. So in your opinion, again, I ask, is CBD safe? I haven't found much research that it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it's as safe as any other supplement that you feel comfortable with. I would think it's as safe as coconut oil. Of course, there's going to be the exceptions. I mean, someone's going to be allergic to it or someone's going to react negatively to it, but that could happen with water. That could happen with iced tea. That could happen with just about anything. So, yeah, I think it's pretty safe. I've not heard of anyone having an issue with CBD.
So what are the benefits? I mean, and this is an open question for everybody. What are the benefits of CBD?
You have quite a bit of them, actually. There was, from my understanding, because I also did some research too, is that there's a Dr. David Copenhaver, and he is the director of cancer pain management and supportive care for the University of California's Davis Health Center. And he noted that the body contains a system of receptors that respond to the compounds in marijuana, including both THC and CBD. And because of this, researchers have been highly interested in the potential benefits of CBD regarding the number of different health problems. So to date, there's only one use that they're saying CBD has significant scientific evidence behind, and that's curbing the symptoms of rare forms of epilepsy, which pharmaceutical company got a hold of and created certain medications for that. But then you have down Yasmin Hurd. He is the chair of the Translational Neuroscience and director of the Addiction Institute at Mount Sinai. And he said the next potential medical use for CBD could be for the symptoms of anxiety disorder. So in studies over the world, there have been positive reports of CBD oil helping with dermatological conditions such as dry skin, acne, eczema, psoriasis, as well as conditions such as even snoring, arthritis, and allergies like hay fever. Now, the other uses, Rich, that you're asking for that I found, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, Jack, uses are like anti-inflammatory, an aid for substance withdrawal, a sleep aid, a pain reliever, but they haven't been conclusively proven. And in some cases, the evidence runs counter to what people might suspect. So it could be more anecdotal. And what benefits, Jay, have you observed in people, whether it be scientific or anecdotal evidence? Like, what have you seen through the years of dealing with this?
Well, one of the main focuses of, you mentioned is definitely the seizure related. And, there are many reports of it helping with seizures. I mean, back in 1940 something, Popular Mechanics did a study for cannabis for the relief of seizures. I mean, this is nothing new. I mean, the one thing we've got to realize is if you do your research and you realize why cannabis was made illegal, strictly a money racism thing. I mean, they had their reasons for shutting it down. If you look at just the purely, let's take away the whole getting high, the whole medicinal value, and let's just go strictly money. Put hemp head to head with cotton and put hemp head to head with trees. It outperforms every one of them. It's a stronger clothing.
Mm-hmm.
It regenerates itself. You're growing a crop of hemp every year as opposed to trees, which could take, I don't know, what 10 to 20 years to mature enough to cut. You can grow hemp one per season. It produces a better paper. I mean, in fact, during war years, it was illegal not to grow hemp. The government could actually come in and shut you down for not growing it because it was used for rope and for other purposes. I mean, in Model T era, they were building panels out of hemp. If you just do your research, you have to ask yourself why it's illegal. Because big money shut it down. It was a threat to money. Now you look into the medicinal aspects of it, and you hear even back in the day when you had guys selling snake oil, so to speak. There's good reason to believe that oil they were selling was cannabis oil, and that it did actually work. So let's look back in history and realize that they've been talking about this for years, and now suddenly over the past couple of years, it's come to light. Some of the other things are, I mean, if the government allows research to do their work on it, they're going to find out that it's probably going to affect cancer in some way. Now, a traditional doctor and traditional researchers are they're going to poo-poo that simply because they're not being paid to advocate it. What they are is they're being paid by big pharma to study that. Why would they do their research on something that is potentially free and easy to grow? The answer is they won't. And they're not going to risk losing their funding to do something that anyone can grow and anyone could really make the medicine. There's tons of recipes on YouTube for people making homemade remedies that help people. One of the things that most amazed me when I was in Colorado, I ran into a gentleman who had like severe intestinal issues, like really heavy duty intestine problems, and they had a photo of the inside of their intestine. It was black and pussy, disgusting. And after 30 days of CBD treatment, it was cleared up. I mean, there's no denying that evidence. I mean, and it's not a onesie twosie thing. It's multiple examples of it. I can give you, if you go do research on Haley's Hope, look for Jason Cranford. He's done some amazing things with CBD. He's developed nasal sprays for kids suffering from seizures. He used video footage of them having a seizure.
I think you turned me on to that. That stuff is amazing.
And in 30 seconds, the kid's going from a full-blown seizure into being mellow and sleeping. I mean, this is happening right now. I mean, it's not something that's staged. This is occurring. This is working. We're on COA radio. These guys do some great things for addiction. There's evidence that CBD helps with heroin withdrawal. And honestly, I mean, I guarantee Art could probably talk to 99 of 100 people that have lost a child due to heroin addiction. I guarantee they would all prefer to see their kids on cannabis rather than that junk that there's no coming back from.
Well, that killed their child.
Exactly. I mean, think about it for a second. They say that marijuana is a gateway drug, and I'm going to quote my friend Ben and tell you that aspirin's a gateway drug, because the minute you have a headache and you take a pill and you realize you're better, you're associating you feeling better with something else. So if you ask me, I think alcohol is more of a gateway drug. The majority of people who are hardcore heroin users do not even like cannabis. It's not in their alley. It's way.
I have to believe someone who. How am I going to put this? They look at it as you're going to get high, rather than looking at it as it has medicinal purposes to it. You know what I mean? So it almost carries its own little stigma.
It's like a stigma. Yeah.
It definitely is. I mean, and they say that, well, the cannabis makes you stupid. Well, I have news for you. Bill Gates and Steve Jobs were heavy marijuana users. I think they're probably the two most intelligent individuals we've had the privy of having on this planet in the last 100 years. They were potheads. Let's face it, folks. These people are not stupid. They built multi-million-dollar empires for that. And I'm not advocating drug use in every way, but what I'm saying is let's give it a chance to look at a medicinal aspect of it. If this plant can cure cancer, if this plant can cure addiction, if this plant could even help with any of this stuff, it's worth a shot, right? I mean, I don't know. My dad had cancer, and I saw how they treated him. They treated him with radiation, which in turn turned into leukemia. I don't know. Something's wrong with that picture.
Well, and what you're saying, it, it hits close to home because I have a cousin and her child has epilepsy amongst other problems. And I have to say too, what you're saying, it's really sometimes kind of hard to get the medical marijuana card for this. And she really had to fight and write letters. She was an advocate, a true advocate for her son that any mother would do. And she finally got it. And when she used it, the improvements that you're saying here, I know mine is anecdotal, by hearing, but helped him significantly.
Yeah, we had veterans that are in our our Warrior Down program. I mean, these are Marines coming from hardcore battle areas, and this kid had PTSD, and they tried everything for him, and they finally tried medicinal. I mean, his doctor prescribed medicinal marijuana, through the program that they have in place now, and that kid is doing phenomenal.
But the negative thing about that is, now that it's because it's federally illegal and it's a federal program. Unfortunately, that gentleman is in line to lose his benefits through the vet because he's doing an illegal drug. Well, that may have changed.
Well, see, those are things that we've been advocating for a while now because a lot of these guys fought for their country, did their thing. I mean, they were in Afghanistan. Hello, that's where the poppy plants are grown. You know what I mean? You think it's a little easier to get it there than anywhere else? So when they came back with a heroin problem, instead of helping them out, we threw them to the street. You know what I mean? Denied their benefits and everything else. So we've been battling that for years. You know what I mean? And helping these guys get their benefits.
Wow.
Have you been able to make any progress when you're going about?
Well, we got the attention of some generals. You know what I mean? And until you get the right people, you know what I mean, attacking a problem, and that's the whole thing. It just takes time. You know what I mean? And that one connection that you're going to make with who can help you make headway.
It's really unfortunate because when you see these people who have, given all for their country and they come back here and they're kind of shunned, it makes you really wonder, A, did they want that person back? And B, what are we really doing to help these people? I mean, it's a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame.
I mean, they're starting to do more now, but that's only because we've been screaming for years, and now they have to do something. I mean, it's just politically correct to not leave these people on the street, man.
I mean, that's one good thing about social media. A positive thing is definitely gets people's points across a little bit easier, and it unites people. The internet is definitely more than the junk we're using it for. But yeah, the whole vet thing is definitely it's definitely a soft spot because these guys are. I mean, they're
well, I'm going to tell you,
heroes.
when we want to get things done, we use our vets because everybody's lining up to help a vet. Nobody's lining up to help our kids, you know what I mean, who are addicted to heroin because of a sports injury or something, you know what I mean? But they'll line up to help a vet. So if that's the avenue that we have to take it. That's the route that we'll take to get, proper attention to it.
I mean, I just read today about the University of Mexico did a study, and they've said that marijuana is I should say cannabis. Marijuana is kind of negative, but cannabis is definitely a better pain reliever than the average NSAID, which could definitely could damage your insides. That leads me to another thing. You have these doctors who are so quick to prescribe opiates. I mean, really, where does the injury line stop? Like, how much pain are you in that you really need an opiate? I mean, some of these prescriptions are crazy. I mean, I know myself after my father passed away, he had hundreds of 30 milligram morphine.
Now, there are some legitimate purposes, you know what I mean, to have that. I mean, someone with chronic cancer, uncurable cancer. I mean, my father just passed from that. I didn't want him to suffer pain.
No, absolutely not.
You know what I mean? So there are proper uses for it.
But
they want to use it for everything, man,
Yeah, you're giving this out, and in like 7 days, you can produce a little bit of a habit. I mean, and then what? Then you have to come down. I mean, I was in a hospital recently, and I remember they were ready to shoot me up with fentanyl, and I was like, well, no, I want to get out of here, and I declined I really didn't need it, but the fact that they were so quick to use that this is kind of shocking to me. You know what I mean? And I asked them for aspirin, and they were like, well, we don't have aspirin to give you. I'm like, really? So my options are fentanyl and fentanyl? It didn't make much sense to me.
Now, some of the hospitals around here are not using that. You know what I mean? I mean, you just have to make it known. You know what I mean? That's not the route you'd like to take. Or they're assuming because of the procedure and maybe the history of that procedure comes great pain with it. You know what I mean? I have a high tolerance for pain, so I'm not like a normal person.
I guess I must be too, because I never needed a pain pill. But
I had open heart surgery. I took pain pills for 1 day, and I refused them after that. I don't need it. I'm good.
Yeah, Art's got a Superman shirt on his City of Angels shirt.
Well, you know
there.
what really gets me, because you're talking about hospitals, right? And I saw this hands-on with several people. Say if you go in and you were talking about that gentleman, with the intestinal issue, and it's quite a common issue, and you get any type of intestinal surgery, and they're offering you the opioid, right? And then as they give it to the person, then they're sitting there saying, well, you do need to use the bathroom, the facilities. You need to move your bowels. Well, that's going to constipate you.
I was just thinking the same thing.
It's almost, a rock and a hard
like that
place.
would be
What
the
are you gonna
last thing
do?
that I would give someone with intestinal problems.
Exactly. And then they're sitting there, and in some cases, depending on the surgery, well, you can't go home until,
you pass your bowels.
till you're past your bowels, or even, I'm sorry for this, guys, but past gas, because that's what they say, right? So you're sitting there and you're like, well, how am I supposed to? It's like cement, like with everything you're giving me.
That's what I said when I had my open heart surgery. They're like, well, you can't leave until you go to the bathroom. And I'm like, you're giving me soup. Like, what do you think I'm going to go to the bathroom? You know what I mean?
No, it's true. And the opiates make it worse.
You could relate to this, Marianne, because I know one of your many expertise is nutrition. I'm more disturbed that they don't teach doctors nutrition first. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say probably 80% of health issues are a result of poor nutrition.
Absolutely.
So why wouldn't you teach preventative medicine first? Like, that's a big problem in our society. We're always treating a heart attack after the heart attack, right? What about treating these things beforehand with like healthy lifestyle changes and, healthy food choices and everything else? But, and maybe not ramen soup, which we all know is probably plastic. And
don't look at me when you say, no, I had I bought a whole pack full of ramen. A case of ramen.
Well, let me just tell you, when you get cracked open like a walnut, you will rethink those dietary choices.
Well, you will, but I will say this, Jay, and you said something very significant, because in my practice, I deal with a lot of colleagues, and the doctors in particular, depending on which type of doctor they are, unanimously say nutrition is not on the top of the educational chain. It's like one of the last things. And when people come into my practice, and they come in with like serious autoimmune problems, and they actually look in my face and say, you are my last resort.
And folks, just for the record, because I know Marianne won't say this herself, but I could bet you a large percentage of those people she actually helps. So if you guys have any problems with like any health issues, autoimmune problems, or you want like a really ass-kicking massage, that's the lady.
Yeah, Marianne's great.
Thank you. But that's one thing that I say, I'm seeing more of type 2 diabetes. I see a lot of people with lupus is becoming very prevalent, and it ran in my family. And I know that when you combine, almost East meets West, I always say this, that you have some medical intervention, but you give the body the proper nutrients while you're going through something. You shouldn't have to be on a medication for life. You might need it temporarily to get over a hump, but just what you said, with lifestyle changes and things, you can actually change your life.
Well, I don't think that traditional medicine gives medicine like Marianne a fair shake. I think they still view it as, no matter what they say, I think they still view it as a bit of witch doctor or witchcraft or something. And I think that traditional medicine has to wake up and realize that natural remedy is probably the way of the future, considering all your chemicals come from nature anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So why would we bastardize medicine that comes from nature with stuff that's not natural? It doesn't make much sense to me.
Well, even in the hospital, since we're talking about hospitals in so many levels, I have been a personal witness because I help clients. Sometimes they are in the hospital and I'm there with them. And I've seen people that are in there for a surgery or whatever, but they are type 2 diabetics. And the food tray comes in and it's loaded with ice cream and orange juice and everything that is going to make somebody's sugar go up really sky high. And you're looking at it going, the dietitian, every hospital has a dietitian. So why are they not looking at what the person's...
I can assure you I wasn't getting this type of meals.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, when I was recently in the hospital, I think it was for my second hernia maybe, the gentleman next to me was there for type 2 diabetes, and they were feeding this guy food loaded with carbs.
Yeah.
And didn't make any sense.
No, it makes no sense. Now, my, I was type 2, and when I just got tested recently, I'm back to normal.
Yay! See?
Because of your diet. Because of
My
diet.
Diet.
See, so that
And even something as simple as walking.
Walking, and I got rid of sugar water.
There you go.
Yeah, isn't that something? You know, there's a hospital in Beijing. I know when I went through some stuff a few years ago, that is a drugless hospital. They use all acupuncture and all that kind of stuff for pain management, even when they give operations. So it's a big world out there too, and people should do research on different things and not be so fast just to think that they should just check a bunch of alternatives.
There's a lot of alternatives out there now.
There really is. Well, if you are just joining us, you're listening to the Health and Wellness Show here on COARadio.com. And we're here tonight with our very special guest, Jay Pesko, who's sharing his wealth of knowledge.
Please call because I'm almost running out of things to say.
Oh, no, I have a bunch of things for you, so don't worry about it. But I do want to go in and talk about some of our sponsors. And one of them is really near and dear, and that's Neo-Zoe's Health and Wellness Center in Cranford, New Jersey. It's a very unique holistic wellness company recognizing the interconnection of body, mind, spirit, and the importance of creating complete wellness in a nurturing and comforting environment. Neo-Zoe is creating new life through balanced living, using nutrition, massage, and so much more. And now that you're coming back from vacation here in August, and now September rolls around, it does get very busy. So if you'd like an appointment, please call today at 732-713-0123 or visit us on the web at www.neozoe.com. Thank you. So again, we are back. And if you'd like to call into the show and tell us your story or add to the conversation, we'd be happy to have you call at 609-241-7103.
Where's Ben at? I thought Ben would call in.
Yeah, maybe he might. I was hoping George would call in, to be honest with you.
Well, I think George can't be in two places at once.
Kenny Siegel's not here, I guess.
No. But he was watching us live on Facebook. So, Kenny, if you're listening, call us at 609.
And he liked the picture yesterday for national radio.
Oh, there you
go.
Well, then that's definitely George.
I spoke to Kenny before because I was going to substitute teach for him, but it didn't work out on his taking his daughter out for her birthday this next coming up week. Sweet. And I'm sure he's listening. So call in, Kenny.
Yeah, 609-241-7103.
I'd like to talk about that video he's got out.
Which video?
Oh, he looks human?
He looks human.
Okay. We'll get to that.
Come on in. Call us.
Yeah, call us because we're going to finish up here on this topic here, right? Now, you mentioned that out in Denver, it is more prevalent there. Let's face it, it's there. But they have a lot of crops. And I don't know if you know anything about this. So if you don't, if somebody does, call in. But last year, Congress passed a farm bill that lifted decades-old ban of growing hemp, which you were touching on already. And as long as the plant contains less than the 0.003% THC, hemp can be grown legally anywhere in the United States by licensed farmers. Do you have any knowledge about farming hemp?
No. I just have as much knowledge as I would by putting a tomato seed into the ground and growing it. But I do actually have some friends that are involved in the hemp industry, and that might be something I may be involved in sooner or later. But they have one field I just saw recently, 1,900 hemp plants.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, I spent some time in Goshen, New York, and there were field of hemp growing up there. So in particular, the Black Dirt region, where if you do your research, Black Dirt region in Goshen is like top quality soil. It's apparently a glacier went over a very almost tropical forest part back millions of years ago. the glazier kept it all stored, so you've got this really premium land, this dirt, and it's like black like coffee grounds. You know it as soon as you walk by. It's the darkest earth you've seen, but it's really rich in nutrients, and they are taking advantage of that and growing some nice crops up in Goshen, New York, and Orange County up there. So yeah, that's where my and I do know the rudimentary stuff. Like I said, I know a little bit more than the average guy, and I read a lot, and I listen to some pretty knowledgeable people. That's how I know what I know. It's very easy, like I said, to find knowledge. You just got to look where you're looking. I mean, you're not gonna trust, the stoner kid that lives next door to you.
But they could read. People could read.
People
things.
can read and do your backup. But honestly, if you guys want to do your own research on CBD, Haley's Hope, Jason Cranford, he's the man. Another group is Med Farm. They really know their stuff. There's a wealth of knowledge out there if you kind of want to know about it. And as far as CBD, do your own research. The one thing I could tell you about CBD, if I had to stress anything, stay away from the isolates. Look for whole plant CBD. Look for plant that actually contain the legal limited CBD. You may want to do a research called the entourage effect, which is the commingling of the CBD and THC and how they work together. They're both necessary in order for the medicine to work properly. Like I said, do your own research, hear anecdotes, listen to people on YouTube that are doing the research and living it. You'll see plenty of people out there who are doing things. Rick Simpson is another name you're going to want to look into. Rick Simpson oil. They claim it's curing cancer. I can't say whether it is or isn't. I'm not a doctor. What I can say is there's been enough evidence that's shown it's done something. So if you have your people over here who are pro marijuana and the people over here who are against it, and you meet in the middle somewhere, I think that's pretty good. A pretty good compromise, and I think you're gonna have some positive results. No, if you cut your arm off, CBD is not going to grow your limb back, but I do believe CBD will probably help you with seizures. I think it's going to help for calming. I think it'll probably help for antidepressant, and I think if you let it, you could probably fight addiction and withdrawal symptoms from it. That alone would make CBD a plus and a success. Can it do more? I think it probably can. I just think it has to be federally legal so we can get the studies going. Because right now, if you have a plant that's federally illegal, there are no studies going to be paid for it. No company's going to do it. And honestly, once Big Pharma gets their hand into CBD, it's really going to be the downfall of it. And just as an interesting aside, the U.S. government actually holds the patent on CBD as medicine. So for someone who's against CBD, to hold the patent for CBD as medicine seems a little weird to me. But like I said, do your own research.
Yeah, it's all this. So is CBD legal or illegal now?
Well, that's funny because what's happening is the FDA is now getting involved with it because a lot of people are using it as food supplements. Now, the last I've heard, this changes like on a daily basis. They are pulling any product off the shelf that CBD has been added to. So in other words, if you have an iced tea or if you have a brownie or if you have a coffee, it is illegal. Now, if you have a supplement or a tincture, it's not illegal. So it's really a fine line how it works. And it's all designed to be making someone else money.
Well, that brings me to what you're saying. There's many unregulated products on the market. And studies are showing that most of the CBD products fail tests for content and purity. And there was a study that was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association that concluded in 2017 that nearly 7 of 10 CBD products did not contain the amount of CBD promised on the label. And then it stated that nearly 43% of the products contain too little CBD and 26% contain too much. So making things worse, about 1 in 5 CBD products contained THC, which was the intoxicating chemical they're saying in marijuana. So what are your recommendations when you purchase CBD products?
Well, do your research. Look at like we all do these days, right? We're all looking at the ratings. We're all looking at the reviews. We're all looking at feedback. Do your research on YouTube. There's a ton of videos. There's people going to be telling you what they've done. If you have an overwhelming response to something, draw the line. And even if you take it, one way or the other, you'll be able to determine what's good. I mean, the cream usually rises to the top in any product, right?
Mhm.
So if you do your research on CBD, you're going to find the right one. Some of the good brands that I've run across personally, Haley's Hope. I would stay away from anything with an isolate. I would stay away from the stuff that you see in head shops. I would stay away from anything that even looks sketchy or gimmicky. There's High Falls out of New York makes a good CBD product. Just like I said, do your research like you would do with anything. I mean, any supplement you would take, you should do research, right? I mean, go by what you feel. I mean, talk to Marianne. She would probably know.
Well, let me ask you this for our listeners. You mentioned isolates twice, right? What is an isolate?
It's
can you
basically where they've come across and just giving you the CBD molecule, where they're isolating it and they're distilling it to give you a pure CBD. Now, to me, everything I've learned is the whole plant's the best CBD. When you have a made of whole plant structure, the isolate, you probably would get the very bare minimum of THC. I don't believe it's a very good medicine. I just have learned to stay away from it.
No, I know. And then they were talking, because I was doing research, as you keep suggesting, that there's different extraction methods. So they have like the whole plant, what you were just talking about, isolate. But I also found CO2 extraction. And I guess that's when CO2 is forced through the plant to extract the oil.
Yeah, I mean, they have a machine that forces it through, and then they run it through a bunch of different products to remove the CO2. I mean, listen, look the way a Ritz cracker is made. Look at the factory that it takes. I mean, to me, I wouldn't, if you really watched it, you wouldn't want to see it, how it's produced. I mean, you look at some of the food, look at Cheese Whiz. I mean, imagine how Cheese Whiz is produced, right? It's not some woman cooking it in her kitchen. That's running through some, industrial machinery. It's not any worse than Cheese Whiz. In fact, I venture to say that Cheese Whiz is probably worse for you than CBD would ever be. I mean, is that even cheese? I mean, it looks more like lubrication. I mean, let's be honest.
Absolutely. And then they also.
I refuse Cheese Whiz.
Thank God. But how many people don't?
Yeah.
I mean, even the butter on a popcorn, right? That's like the worst thing you could eat. It's about as carcinogenic as hell. I mean, recently I just read that eating bacon every day is worse than smoking cigarettes. I mean, you can buy bacon anywhere, right? You can go to any store and get bacon. So, I mean, let's be realistic. I mean, there are probably things worse than you than a plant that grows on the planet that can almost grow anywhere. And something else I failed to mention before, and I kind of wanted to. There is a molecule in the brain specifically meant for THC. It's been developed over years, which means at one point humanity quite regularly consumed it. We've only been told over the past 100 years that it's been bad for us. Before that, people were utilizing it for a multitude of reasons. I mean, look at all the things that we've been told are bad for us. Psilocybin, mushrooms. Now they're talking about that helping cure PTSD and other mental illnesses. I mean, there's been so many things that we've been told have been bad for us our whole life, but we're suddenly realizing that they're better than we thought. And I hate to say it, but when you look at why it's being hidden, it's monetarily, it's money.
Cannabis was legal at one point in time in the past.
Mhm.
I mean, in the recent past. I mean, it hasn't been 50 years, you know what I mean? Since it's been on like a prohibition type thing. They made it a Schedule 2.
Which means it's more dangerous. I mean, it's a Schedule 2 drug, which means it has no medicinal value, yet it's ranked worse for you than cocaine. I mean, come on. I've known plenty of cokeheads in my life. No one's smoking a joint and stealing their mother's wedding band. You know what I'm saying? It's not happening. Like I said, the only danger you'd be in is if you were a bag of Doritos.
You see two guys duking it out at the bar. You don't see two potheads duking it out in the parking lot.
You're never going to see that. What are they going to do? They're going to be fighting about who's a better team, like the Yankees or Mets or something cerebral. Nobody's going to be swinging their fists when they're hot.
Or what they're going to eat next.
Exactly.
Which fast food place are we going to
And if you
stop
kind of
at?
hit over here, you might think something's going on here, but honestly, we've been all very sober tonight. But Richie has the food.
Rich is like type 2 diabetic.
Well,
Yeah.
well, no,
He's got what? Big
No, well,
Newton
listen,
cakes there, the
let's
usual.
Let's be fair.
When he goes on the road.
Let's be fair. I went across the street to try to buy some goodies for everybody, and it's that kind of place. I got all junk, but
It's the
He's
usual.
got bootlegged Fig Newtons.
they're not even real Fig Newtons. I know.
They are. They're like not even the real Fig Newton. They're like I think they picked them up off the ground in the Keebler factory.
Well, they're not right. There's something wrong with this whole.
Well,
That's why it's over there.
It's
not in my
definitely
stuff.
bizarro snacks. They're definitely
Yeah,
like
well-
weird versions of the real snack.
Well, I got something interesting called.
I can't even read it.
Well,
A dog nut.
It's under the
Probably.
half price label.
yeah, it's called.
That's where the expiration date probably is too.
Expired 3 years ago. Yeah. Still looks
It's called Lady Linda Dunkin' Sticks. It's the worst stuff I ever ate.
Like you could squeeze the grease out of that thing.
Probably.
As a matter of fact, a cookie stayed on my lyric sheet here, and it's like still there.
Well-
I took it off.
Speaking of that, since
In
you're
any
on
case.
probably a sugar high, right?
Not really, because I really didn't eat too much of it.
On a sugar high. And we are talking about cannabis. And no, Pink Floyd did not do cannabis, but I know that people probably
I'm
listen
sure a
to
hell of a
some
lot of
his
their
stuff.
users have.
That's what I'm saying. So we're gonna have our sing along, Jay.
Hopefully, I can
Love
play
you
it.
to join in
Okay.
and join us for a little bit.
You know, I really wish George would call in. 'Cause I'd love to hear him sing along with this, but
Well, maybe his spirit will be someplace.
I'm sure.
It's possible.
As long as he's not on camera, maybe
But everybody get ready. Here's Rich Delanta. Little Pink Floyd for us this evening. Wish you were here.
join in with me, guys, if you like to sing it. So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail? Smile from a veil. Do you think you can tell? And did they get you to trade your heroes for gold? Hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change. And did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in the cave?
Very jealous.
How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground. What have found? Same old fear. Wish you were here. Come on, Mary Ann, let's do the second verse again. How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground. What have we found? The same old fears. Wish you were here.
Yeah, thank you, Rich Shalanda.
Yeah, Well, that's for Jay. I know Pink
Jay,
Floyd, Sid Barrett's favorite band.
Seen
So,
Art
for
mouthing
you, my
words
brother.
over there. It's great.
yeah, I'll say.
And that brings us to our very next sponsor,
Oh.
and that is High Tech Glow Bud. High Tech Glow Bud for safety and sound, high performance audio for outdoor joggers, bicycling, and all sports. High tech brands of earphones are designed and manufactured with electroluminescent technology. Glow Bud earphones emit a safe and bright neon light that with the touch of a button will flicker neon lighting along to your favorite tunes. In addition, for an enhanced audio experience, they added in high-performance studio drivers designed to their specification for churning out amazingly clear and vibrant highs and bottoms to create one of the best sports earphones for indoor and outdoor use, day or night, on the market today. Now you can feel safe at night with enhanced visibility for walking and talking, jogging, and being seen by street traffic wearing their Sports Talk Glow Buds. Hear and see the difference. You can get your pair today through their distributor of www.whatsonsale. That's WATTS onsale.com. And if you call in at 609-241-7103, you can score one of these earbuds. So we'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your musical accompaniment there.
You're welcome.
And also, where we are here this evening, and Jay, thank you for coming along, is for City of Angels. City of Angels is conquering our addictions. If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, help is available. You can call 609-910-4942, and you can visit them and make a donation because they run strictly off the donations at www.cityofangelsnj.org. Click the donation tab, enter any denomination, and in the special instruction, if you put donation for the Health and Wellness Show, we will make you an official sponsor of our show for 30 days. So again, don't be fooled. Addiction can have help. Don't be ashamed. Available help 24 hours a day. You can call City of Angels at 609-910-4942.
And if I could add, they are great. City of Angels is really the best bunch of people, and if they're anything like Art, the rest of them, they are like a phenomenal group that really do a good job.
Really selfless. So we have our caller on the line. You are live on the Health and Wellness Show. I'm Marianne, and who is this?
Oh, well, this is Kenny Siegel. How are you guys?
Kenny, you've heard our plea.
I figured 4 of my favorite people in the same room at the same time there, and you played "Wish You Were Here." I took it personally, like you were wishing I was there.
We were.
That was for you, Kenny, by the way.
What's happening, gang?
We were talking about your video.
I didn't hear that because I was having trouble with my phone trying to tune you guys in, and I finally got it. But I did hear "Wish You Were Here," and I did hear Jay speaking of his, all the drugs that he knows so much about.
You are.
But you guys are always great. Sounds great and very informative, Jay.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, and also talking about all the things I've always said about the food and food additives. And yes, I will not eat Cheez Whiz either.
Oh, that's a good thing.
It's like, what is that?
That's
stuff?
not cheese. That's something, but it's not cheese.
It's Whiz. It's Whiz. I'll tell you what's funny. In another life, I was involved with a company that made a tea drink, and I remember one of the things we were going to say is contains mineral water. Well, I was shocked to know that in order to put something as an ingredient on your product, the minuscule amount that has to be added to it is like, it's something as shocking as like a whole vat. If you added a bottle of mineral water, you could actually say it contains mineral water. So, imagine the percentage of cheese that Cheez Whiz actually has. It's probably the whiff of the cheese. It can't be anything remotely close to cheese. I just can't.
I'm sure if you read the chemicals on it.
I just bought some seltzer, right? And it was grapefruit flavored seltzer. It had like And so Marianne looks at the label and says, it says
Said it was all natural.
all natural, contains no.
0% fruit juice.
So
It's
All natural means nothing. What does that mean?
Nothing.
Well, technically everything's natural, right? Because everything's coming from the earth. We processed it, but technically everything's coming from the earth. So technically everything's natural.
And what if we put like tar from the street in it? It's natural.
that's natural.
Yeah. And that's the truth. They do use coal tar in some things. And you know what always amazed me was when you see TSP in something. Now, when you're going to clean your walls, they tell you to put gloves on when you use TSP, but they can put it in your food.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
I mean, didn't like Subway just been outed for like their like bread containing like yoga mat material? Wasn't
Yes.
that like something
Yep.
a couple of years ago, like Gatorade with the lighter fluid or
Mhm.
something, or flame
Yeah,
retardant?
yeah,
something or
you know.
other? I mean, I like Gatorade as much as the next guy, but when you hear that, it kind of makes me think twice about taking that sip.
Water sounds good.
I know. Well,
Well,
you know, what are we going to do? We're going to try to eat all the other stuff so that nobody buys the bad stuff.
Well, I
right?
just went across the street to buy some goodies for everybody, and I just bought these
Poison.
fantastic Raylicious
Oh, yeah.
chocolate chunk
Let's hear
cookies.
the ingredients on that.
Well, I don't know. It says, well, the hype is better.
Monoglucate.
It's better than delicious.
It's Raylicious.
It's Raylicious.
It's got a little bit of ray.
Let's see what it says. It has potassium sorbate, caramel color, not camel.
Same thing.
Okay, now I'm crying. I'm laughing. I can't read. Well,
That's because he can't pronounce the rest of the
well,
ingredients.
no, now
That thing will be fresh 5 years from now.
now I'm dried up. Well, I might eat it then. Let's see.
I don't know where I was, but I actually saw a Big Mac that someone kept underneath like a plastic box, and it like was actually still like not moldy, like still in like decipherable shape like a year later.
Oh,
That's like when the kids drop the
this-
fries from their Happy Meals in
this
the van and
main-
it's still there.
this main ingredient is it's a modified dairy product, whatever that is. Okay, so there you go, Kenny.
Actually, a good friend of mine, Don Rod,
Got some
actually
fake cows.
ate a month-old sandwich that he found in his sister's car once, like 6 or 8 months old, and the hamburger was still like edible to him.
Okay, so now so you know.
I draw the line there.
Yeah, that drew the line, definitely.
Well, he's definitely passed a few lines in his life. So
Wait a second.
We all know that pizza lasts like at least 3 or 4 weeks, right?
Probably.
I also got
Not in
here.
my house.
I got fig bars.
bootleg Fig Newtons.
Danny Ray's fig bars.
See, his next medical thing's gonna be intestinal.
Oh, absolutely.
No. This stuff is going to go right into wherever.
But
not
Kenny
my stomach.
here, and he's not mentioning it. Kenny, you are actually very much into health,
Oh yeah.
and I know that you eat your vegetables and stuff like that too.
Yes. I was on your show once and we
Yes.
spoke about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I'm bringing it up because I know
Yeah.
that you are very much into health.
Very much. Always have been. And I say my sister used to have a health food store. And I think Rich was there when you came
I
down
was.
to the beach house at
Yeah.
one time.
No, I was.
Yeah.
I was.
And you know, whatever. I've been into it. My best friend, when we were kids, his mom got into it, and I was like about 12, and she was making soy burgers and things like that before you could buy them. You had to actually get soybeans and cook them, and
Wow, smart
do all
girl.
kinds of stuff.
Wow.
And she was a really good cook too. So I found I really liked all the stuff she made, and she was making good, healthy things for us. And
Well-
I think that's what got me started.
Well, for as long as I've known you, you've been good that way, vegetarian, and just really watching it all. Like I remember.
Yeah, except when you would make me drink tequila.
Well, I didn't have to twist your arm that much, but
Not that much.
Richie's
but,
been
you know.
known to force people to drink tequila.
I do.
Kidnap
But-
them and force it in their mouth. I suspect that might be the
Everybody
case
used to
with
laugh at me. They say, "You eat real healthy, and then you go, you drink this stuff." And I'm like, "It's better than just drinking that and not eating healthy, right?"
well, tequila is probably what tequila is.
It's justification. Here it goes.
It is. No, I'm not going to say anything good about tequila, but I'm not going to say anything bad about tequila.
1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila, 4. Isn't that what you
That's
say?
about right. That's
Well,
about
Uh,
Kenny, we thank you
Yes.
so much for calling
What
in
does he
and
win?
hearing her call. Well, he just scored himself a set of the high tech.
Oh, you get some headphones.
You get some headphones. That's what you got.
Here, read what they are to him.
I already did.
where is Art? I don't hear Art's voice.
He's here.
Okay.
He's
All
Actually,
right.
Art was just caught viewing the video, the famous video that Kenny's produced.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like 40 of them in the same
J-
room.
just wait until the new one comes out.
I don't know, man. I've been hearing about this new video for a better part of a year
When
now.
does
Come
the
on,
new one-
Kenny, get
When
it
does the new one come out?
Yeah, well, we've had some problems, but that's all right. We're working on it. We're working on it.
Yeah, man.
But,
No, we're looking forward to it, and I know that you're on IndieCast as well, and that's
And I'll
doing
get
very
into
well.
that. I'll get into
Mary
that.
Ann's is going to talk about it.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, guys, and always great to talk to you. Jay, I haven't seen you for a while. Gotta
Yeah,
hook
man. We
up
got to hook
soon,
up soon.
you know?
Definitely.
And that's what
All
we do
right.
here on the Health and Wellness Show. Hook everybody up. So, Kenny, thank
That's
you so
right.
much for taking the time out of your busy schedule and giving us a call here on the Health and Wellness Show. And we will send out your glow buds to you.
Great. All right, man. You guys, love you all.
Love you,
and
Kenny.
I'll talk
Love
to
you
you soon,
too.
all right?
Take care, Kenny.
Thanks.
All
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you're just tuning in, you are listening to the Health and Wellness Show here on COARadio.com, and you can call in just like Kenny did at 609-241-7103. And we are getting back to our very special guest, and we're going to take a little diversion from what we've been talking about with cannabis and get to know a little bit more about you and creating. So you have over, from my understanding, 25 years of experience in graphic design and branding, both web-based platforms and internet architecture. And you seem to have been born with this extraordinary vision on things. When did you notice this has become a passion of yours?
Well, I've been tearing the insides of encyclopedias out forever to get to that blank page to draw. If you look at for the people who don't know what an encyclopedia is, think Google without the screen. I forget what the brand was. Might have been Encyclopedia Britannica or something. My parents must have spent a mint on these books with the fancy shelf, and I think it was 1974. It was the year we had, and every one of those pages would be ripped out, and I'd have my drawings in them, which in turn made the whole book fall apart. So,
But that was the internet of the 70s.
it was the
Yeah, it
internet of
was.
the 70s. But yeah, I mean,
Word for word book reports, man.
honestly,
no.
I can't do anything else. I'm not a 9-to-5 guy. I've tried it a few times. I haven't had any success. I'm creative. I like to do creative things.
Well, you have your own company called Soft Edge Designs, and the
Yes.
designs is with a Z. I love that.
Yeah.
And you're able to take people's work from concept through production. Can you explain that? Because I understand you're not 9-to-5, but you are able to do miracles.
Well,
I've seen it.
I mean, if someone were to come to me with a vision of a logo or a video or anything creative and they need me to bring their idea to light, that's what I would do. If someone came to me with could be anything, could be a nice tea product, could be a restaurant, could be a landscaping company, whatever.
Be it health and wellness.
Could be health and wellness. Whatever you need help with developing and making into a brand, because that's your next step when you open a business. You want to brand your product. You want to look uniform. You want to look like have your stuff together. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, these days, when it comes to business, just look at the way the big people are doing it. Like even if as simple as like a Toys R Us or a McDonald's or any sort of company, they're branded in such a way to make it look like they have their shit together, so to speak.
Mhm.
Sorry about the cursing, but
That's
yeah, I
okay.
mean that's
Sugar honey iced tea.
basically what it comes to. I can help brand your product with a logo, with a look and feel, with a video, in any manner. I could, from concept to production, whatever you need on a multitude of platforms, from web to video.
Mhm.
That's what I do.
And you've gotten raves from so many people. You've done stuff with me, for Flying Dreams.
He's done
for,
stuff for me too with
for,
Neo
for,
Zoe.
for Marianne, for videos.
Yeah, I mean, video is a fairly new thing for me. I've christened myself a videographer before I even owned the camera. Just something I figured I can do, and I've gotten okay with it. A lot of the things I look back in the past, I cringe, but I guess that's a good thing because I don't really settle for anything. I like to improve. And I really give my all to whatever I put myself into.
Well, you've also delved into the creativity of written word, becoming a respected journalist, and you've done articles on Tony Bon Jovi and St. Laz, hip hop's Dr. G, Anthony Kryzan, and our very own Rich Shalanda.
Thank you.
And I've read these articles, and you have a unique way of communicating your knowledge and opinions all in one article, and they're very engrossing when you read them.
Well, I have a good editor, so that I can't take 100% of the credit for that. But yeah, I mean, I do. I try.
Well, he has a creative spirit too, so he follows the creativity, right? That you feel that you feel that a creative thing.
Well, I think visually, it's I don't know how
Think
other
visually.
people don't think. I don't know how other people get creative with things, but I hear things and my mind starts moving right away. It's not always the easiest thing to bring out because it's pretty tough sometimes to try to. I work hard at what I do. It's something that doesn't necessarily come naturally to me. I mean, it comes quicker as I get older, but creatively, it's an effort to get it from my mind to my fingers. Sometimes I don't know if it's something that that isn't wired correctly, or maybe that's just the way it works out. But yeah, I mean, I work hard to do what I do.
Well, you've also been developing your expertise in both photography and videography. So, how do you hone in on your craft?
To be honest with you, I just do it. I mean, I'm not gonna, give you a whole story about how things come to me in some exotic vision. I just kind of get into it and get rocking. You know, if you would ask me my biggest strength, I think it would be my ability to adapt, the ability to take what I'm given and the pile that I'm putting and to make something tangible out of it. Because I got to tell you, a lot of times people come to me with no budget or a low budget, and I've got to make something that looks like high budget, which is what I try to do with various techniques, whether it be a drone or using an exotic location or using something that, in particular, I'm thinking about Richie's video where we shot outside and we captured a shooting star on tape, and just the way the lights hit off the water. I try to take something that, like, I think for that video we had like a 75-cent budget, and
and
we
it
lost
is,
money on it because Marianne's gas was never paid for. So
and it's beautiful. I mean, when you see that, but you have that eye, you have
But
that.
that video is very artistic.
It is artistic.
Well, speaking of videos, that gets us to our next sponsor, which I'm going to talk about here.
cool.
And that is IndieCast TV. Making money as an indie artist just got easier. Your fans will be able to find you anywhere, as IndieCast TV soon to be seen on Kodi, Roku, Apple TV, as well as IndieCastTV.com. If your music video makes the IndieCast TV Top 150, it will air on the IndieCast TV 24-hour linear channel, broadcasting worldwide. Each time your video airs, you will receive 25 cents per play from the very first play. If you're an indie artist, you can visit their website for more exciting details at www.indiecasttv.com. IndieCast TV, what music television should be.
As an aside about IndieCast TV, which is kind of cool, and I know Rich has probably gotten a check from them.
I have.
I know of another artist who got like a $30 check. That is more than YouTube and SoundClick and any one of those other things will ever send you. I mean, I think I read that.
Oh yeah, no.
Who's that one artist? He had all those hits. Peter Frampton had 57 million views on one of those sites, and he got a check for $17,000. I mean, so that tells you if Peter Frampton's getting 57 million views, the average indie artist has zero chance of making a dime off that, right?
Yes.
I mean, let's put it real. So
it's pretty amazing.
IndieCast is giving you 25 cents a spin. That's a pretty damn good.
And they pay you on time, and it was so
you.
easy. It was just, they transferred it to a PayPal account?
It's really pretty amazing.
Really amazing.
When I got the check, I'm there, and I have videos all over YouTube and stuff, and never made a dime on it. And if you monetize it, even if you monetize your YouTube channel, it's hard to make money.
Well, you've got to the rules for monetizing a YouTube channel. I think you have to have like 120,000
Yes.
viewable hours or something, which you'll never have.
It's ridiculous.
You'll never do it.
But with IndieCast, pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like for the kids are gonna have to look back on YouTube to see what MTV used to be, because now it's like Pregnant at 16 and Fancy Homes and all sorts of other garbage. At one point, MTV played 24 hours of music, and it was great because it was all types of music. I mean, you ran into like AC/DC, followed by the Beastie Boys, followed by Elton John. It was a real mix. It was really a radio on TV with the extra viewing, and it actually was a viable entity at one time instead of the cesspool that it is now. And I do have something to do with IndieCast. So I'm actually gonna, of course, I'm gonna brag about it, but I have something to do with it because I believe in it. Generally, I'm at the point in my life where I'm not going to be involved in anything unless I believe in it, unless I'm part of it. I mean, I'm not that old, but at the same point, I'm also not going to kiss anyone's ass any longer if I'm not.
Well, you get to the point.
Somebody.
You get to the point where
Yeah.
where you say, look, you're going to call it the way that it is.
I mean, honestly, in the near future, because I've recently stepped out of one life and into another, I'm going to do my freelance artwork, and I'm also going to be involved in producing and going further with pro cannabis events or maybe a cannabis company. And I'm actually probably going to take this wonderful class here to become a recovery coach, because I believe in, helping people with addiction. And I just think that a lot of the things that these great people are doing deserve my time.
They're great classes. I
So-
know, of course, Marion Ann and myself, we've taken classes, and they're great classes.
And the way you can find those classes, just for anybody who's listening, is you go to www.coatinj, that's COATINJ.com, where you could find out about all the classes, pricing, special promotions, everything. And Rich and I have been through all the classes, and they are absolutely wonderful. So it's a joy to hear you want to come on board, and I think it's amazing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd love to definitely do some work with these fine people here, as well as, I got to give a shout out to Benny, because, we previously had a podcast, and, we're definitely going to bring that podcast back and do it. There's been some talk of maybe doing it with art and maybe get some stuff rocking, but, Ben's been sober for 28 years, and he's definitely a good friend of mine, and I believe in a lot of what he does. So to move forward with that would definitely do my heart good, and that's my way of kind of giving back to really good people. I mean, Kevin and Art are like the best. I mean, these people are doing something out of their pocket, and a lot of times spending their own money in order to move it. And I really admire Art because he does their website stuff. He does their video. He's kind of close to my heart, really, because it's kind of the same stuff I do. So I just have to say that I'm really envious of the work they do, and they're really a good outfit and really just good people.
Oh yeah, and they're in the trenches too, right? You're boots on the ground, man. You're there, helping people around the clock.
And I've been to a few of their events, and as it's sort of a bittersweet thing, because you see a lot of sad people who've lost loved ones come together for an incredible event. And trust me, I can guarantee you that these people do not want to be there. I mean, it's something that listen, in order to be there, in order to be a part of it, you've had to be touched in some way. And I think everyone in this room, and some of us more than others, have been touched. And, it's a sad thing, and it's an epidemic that has to be addressed one way or another. But I bet you those people do not want to be at that event. But the fact that they're there and they're pulling forward, it really says a lot about the people they are. So nothing but props to City of Angels. They're really good people.
Absolutely.
It's just kind of a way for them to honor, you know what I mean, their loved ones, at that run. I mean, it's usually pretty strong.
The tent with the loved ones photos is unbelievable. I mean, to see that, and if you don't get choked up, you're not a human being.
No, and talking about that run, if you save the date, it is Saturday, September 14th. And that is the City of Angels 5K walk run. It's the biggest event of the year, and it's time to get those running shoes out and register for this year's walk run and start organizing your fundraising teams for this year's event. So let's work together to make this year's Walk Run with the Angels the biggest and most memorable yet. Thank you in advance for continuing to support our efforts in assisting families and individuals seeking help and battling the disease of addiction. And it will be at the Mercer County Park in the West Picnic area again on Saturday, September 14th. And if you'd like to go ahead and register online, you could do so at www.cityofangelsnj.org. And you can be able to do that. And just like you said, Jay, it's a wonderful event and it's very moving.
That's
it really
Saturday,
is.
September 14th, right?
Yes.
Last year we had the one Marine, man. His dad was also a Marine Reserve, and his dad had asked, I guess, their commander, because it was a Saturday and it was their duty weekend, if he could take 3 or 4 guys to participate in this run. And they sent the whole platoon.
Wow.
It's amazing. And
That was
it gives you
like
chills.
70 guys running, and they ran that whole 3.5 miles with full rucks on.
Wow.
And they were cleaning as they went along too. I mean, we were doing
They
some
were,
unbelievable
man.
things. I mean,
They were amazing. And it just gives you chills when you see that. Because I've seen even photos online and everything of it. And it's just amazing how it is. But getting back to you, Jay.
me?
Yeah, because now I know firsthand what it's like to work with you as a producer. And yes, folks, I said producer because he said producer. But the reason why I know is because I am announcing with you right next to me, again, is my new TV show. It's going to be called They're All with Marianne Costello. And this show is in New York City. This show is where we're going to get to the heart of the matter with our guests, special show topics, healthy lifestyles. And it's a show you don't want to miss. We've had many guests from comedians to radio DJs to actors to top doctors to organizations on a mission to producers to authors, rock bands, and so much more. And it's coming this September. It can be viewed on Comcast Local Access Channel, video on demand on Barrel.tv, and our own YouTube channel. So stay tuned for details. And I'm so excited, Jay, that you've helped me along with this. You've done so much work with me and for me. And I'm eternally grateful for this to happen. This is like making somebody's dreams come true.
Well, you know, you actually deserve because you are you really do care for everything you do. You give your friends like 110%. The fact that I could help in any level is really more of a thank you than anything. But that being said, you know, and I do have a biased opinion because I'm involved, but it really is a good show. I mean, it's informative. It's well done. We've gone above and beyond the average cable show because we're multi-camera shoot. We have a wonderful sound guy and Richie doing music and doing the production. And listen, we have a lot of things going on. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a next step for me. And it's one of the things that I'd like to give more of my time to now that I have more time to do. And stuff that just means more to me than getting a paycheck. You know, this is going to be a labor of love, and I really think we're going to do well with it.
I think we are, and we have many sponsors who are interested in sponsoring the show as well. So I'm eternally grateful for the fans, for people wanting to be sponsors, and I just can't thank you enough. But you are a producer, and when we were talking about videos and IndieCast and everything like that, there is a video on there called Disconnected that you were just talking about our 75-cent budget because it was really true. And you made a wonderful concept. You know, you start out with a concept and you saw it through and you guided Rich, myself, everything, and you made the video happen.
Well, we made it happen, and we actually did it guerrilla style. You know, there are some scenes where we actually, you know, illegally trespass into hospitals, and Richie was actually caught in one of the revolving doors at one point. We've actually, you know, we'd be driving down the street and I'd see something that I thought would work, and we kind of did it guerrilla style. Like I said, I think the video was definitely something that the budget was definitely in the negative numbers. But, you know, honestly, when I look back at the video, I cringe at some points, but I definitely cringe a lot less, and I'm kind of happy. So I'm overall, I'm pretty good. And truth be told, that was the first video I ever did. It was the first video that I ever filmed conceptually. I've done a few live ones, but that was realistically the first video I did that had any sort of planning to it.
You did
So,
great, and we had some good locations.
You did an awesome job.
Well, thank you. I
But you know
appreciate
what?
that.
We're highly critical of ourselves. You know what I mean? Even if the work is good, I'm like, I could have did this.
But isn't it
you
better
know?
that we're
Right.
critical of ourselves and settling, because that's what drives us forward, right?
I don't settle. It's how I work.
I
I
mean-
work the same. We are so much alike. It's scary.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been here early on, and I've seen the way art's developed. The studio,
It's come a long way.
it's definitely come a long way.
Yes.
And you know, art works like I work. We kind of stumble into things and we just get it done. I mean, we don't really settle for the preamble. We get moving, right? We jump into things. That's how we learn.
People start talking about things, and my mind is already working. You know what I
And
mean?
some
I'm 10
people just
steps
sit
ahead
there
of that, man.
and
Yeah.
just keep talking about it. And some people just go ahead and do it. And I'm one of those that I'm just going to go ahead.
Well,
and
they're
do it.
talking. I'm playing it, and then I go home and just implement it.
And does it?
Yes.
I mean, like
and you're like that, Jay. Very much.
well,
so.
listen, I have no choice to be, right? I mean, you know, I don't settle on my past laurels. I mean, you know, I'm looking for the next big thing. I'm looking for any project I'm involved in. I look to better myself than the last time. I want to do a good job. I want to do the best I can do, which means that if you're working with me, I'm giving you the best I could possibly give you at every time. Not to say that next week isn't going to be better than today, but at that moment, you're getting my best.
And that's
Absolutely.
and that's why you're successful. And
Well, I'm not as successful as I would like to be, but I'm in it. I could sleep at night.
Yes.
I don't have to. I don't lose sleep over being dishonest or not happy with my performance. So
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
regard, yes.
yeah, it's more than monetary. And all of a sudden, when you
Well,
have
money helps.
money does help, but the money finds you if you keep on this path.
Sometimes it does, right? I mean, we've all been there. We're all to the point where, you know, listen, we've all been at that point where you'd rather not be money wise, but I will never let that compromise my myself.
Well, I know.
Well,
It's
also
fantastic.
too, I like that because we all work on several projects together. You know, truth be told, and we all work collaboratively, where we all have a different skill set. We all work together, and we can voice our opinions. Okay, because we all have our own opinions, and we admit that. You know, but how to come together as a group and work together. And to your point too, monetarily works. You know, it does help, and that's what we're
But that
now
comes down
ready
to, you know,
for
you
the
can
next
give 10,
step.
10 people the same thing to do. They would do it 10 different ways, and none of them would be wrong.
Exactly.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Everyone just has their own little flair that they put to it.
Absolutely. And, but I love, you know, the group that we work with, and we keep expanding it, you know, with other individuals and other organizations, and really building something to make something great. Because I think there's so much negative energy in the world from we don't even own a television. Okay. As crazy as it sounds, it's been years. And I don't miss watching, like, you know, the newscasters.
I watch cooking shows.
There you go. So do I. So we have
You
something in
know,
common. That's what I do all the time. So
It's ambient background noise while I'm working.
exactly.
Well, sorry, Jay, I'm wrecking the place here. So I'll tell you a story. So a long time ago, the reason why I disconnected like the video, everything from the house, including TVs, is because there was a point in my life where I used to have big screen TVs, and I would watch on different panels on the TV, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, all at the same time.
That stuff will drive you crazy.
And it will drive you crazy. So I unplugged.
Right.
I unplugged from everything. But then when the OJ case came on, I
Hey,
I
we
mean-
all watch that
Yeah.
every day.
I had to get a satellite. So I got a big C-band satellite. That it's now illegal. It's not good. But that's the only thing I plugged in. Now what I do is just it's a Netflix or just internet, and there's no TV. I don't want to hear.
Netflix and chill.
Yeah, I don't want to hear people's opinions about what's going on.
But I also know what else you're on too, because I'm going to come back to your video with Disconnected. That for our listeners who have not seen the video that we're talking about, and it's absolutely fabulous, you can actually view it at www.indycasttv.com.
Oh yeah, please do that.
And you could click on the video library and click on Progressive, and you will find Rich's video there. And you could help support an artist and help support Jay, who is also the creator of this video, by going there and supporting IndieCast and indie artists everywhere.
Yes,
So
that'd be so helpful.
it would be helpful. And I just think it's a video that needs to be seen, because it really, the concept is there, but it's also a life story about yourself
Yes.
when you really watch
Yep.
it. And Jay made that come
What a
to
great
life.
video. Thank you so much. That was a great.
Yeah, I mean, I basically took what you were telling me and tried to tie it up into something interesting.
But you did.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but you had
I'm,
some
I'm
great
definitely happy with it. Like I said,
Yeah,
there were some
no,
things I'm
no,
not
no.
happy with, but I'm overall. Actually, the things I'm not happy with are the fact that, well, I would like better band footage. That would have made things funner.
Yeah, but we'll talk about. We'll do another one soon. Anyway, we'll take care of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think something's in the works right now.
It is.
But yeah,
It
it
is.
should be
So
good if we.
There are things in the works, and Jay, I know that people listening, and when they see your work, and I'd like to say this right here because I'm going to hold it up, but this artwork that you see here on this cover and the whole thing, for people who can see this who are not, watching YouTube, all of the artwork that is done on Richie's new CD, my CD, the DVD, has all been Jay's work. And he also did all of the um, creative visualizations and kaleidoscopes and all for the DVD. And I can't tell you how much that project meant to me and the all that you put into this. I mean, you don't give 100%. You give like 125% on everything you do.
I like people to get their money's worth, you know.
No, but besides that, you have a passion, but you also want to do right by the person. You're not just some greedy person saying, pay me, pay me, pay me. You really put
Yeah,
your
he goes
into
all
it.
in.
You
Listen,
go all in on
he goes all in.
everything. And you could view websites such as mine at www.neozoe.com or even www.richlandaflyingdreams.com, and you could see Jay's work
You see
because
the
you
quality.
brought us to life. You helped brand us, and I can't tell you how much that means, or to have you as a guest on the show tonight.
Well, I really thank you for that, and I'm amazed that I was able to actually speak for an hour and whatever minutes.
You can,
And
but how can
happy to
people
be here.
find you on? Like, do you have a website that we could go to?
you know something? Oddly enough,
It's like the plumber and the electrician.
I don't have a website. I mean, honestly, truth be told, majority of my work comes from word of mouth. You said it before. I do give 110% everything I do. The one thing I will say is when you're a graphic designer or an artist or whatever, 95% of what you do is rejected. Because usually, for example, I come with a logo design for someone. I give them 5 logos. They're going to reject almost all of them, and then we kind of, collaborate and come up with one. So you have to be used to rejection in this, and you can't have a thin skin. And the other thing you've got to realize is you got to be able to take no for an answer. A lot of times I'll be working with somebody and I'll know that what the choice they made had been the wrong one. And that's partly my fault. I should never give the option of something that I wouldn't choose.
Yeah, but you do.
But I do. And more often than not, I'll have three designs and I'll throw a fourth one and I call my booby design. It's kind of to distract them away towards the other ones. And a good percentage of time people actually pick that crappy one. So I stopped doing that.
Huh.
But yeah, you've got to be prepared for rejection, and that's just the way things are.
Well, how can people get in touch with you?
Well, you can find me on Facebook. I think it's Jay Petsko, all one word. You could probably look on Marianne's website. I comment a great deal on hers. You could Google me, or you could invite me out to coffee, and I'll meet you, and we'll talk about projects. But yeah, look at my Facebook. It's Facebook /Jay Petsko.
Spell his name. Spell your name.
Petsko. I don't own Petco, so I could use a job. I am no longer fully employed. I'm more freelance now.
Right.
Yeah, if you need a project done and you want to work with something that you're going to get a great deal out of, and you're going to have me as a long-term supplier, because most of my clients love me and they keep me around forever.
I can't talk highly enough about you, Jay, and not only that, the things that you've done for me and for Marianne, but just the quality of work. I'm looking at album covers, CD covers across it. It's all 3D. It's all just beautiful, beautiful, artistic
Well,
work.
I appreciate the comments. Believe me, I try. You're gonna find better graphic artists. You're gonna find a better web designer, but you're not gonna find everybody who could do as good a job on all of them as I can.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And Jay, thank you so much for being a special guest tonight. And I do want to say that get prepared because we have a special treat for you on our next health and wellness show, which will be Wednesday, September 18th. It will be a 2-hour special event because we are going to be having right here in studio Nectar, the legendary rock band with original members Derek Mo Moore, Ron Howden, Mick Brockett, our very own Rich Shalanza, Randy Dembo, and world-class newcomer Kendall Scott. They will all be here, so you could call in with all of your questions. We will talk about health-related things that you might know. We'll talk about their 50th anniversary tour. We'll talk about their new upcoming album and so much more. And you can be able to write the phone number down. It's 609-241-7103.
Oh, that's huge.
It is huge. And they will be here live again in studio starting at 8 p.m. on Wednesday, September 18th, only here on COARadio.com.
Is that a late birthday present for Richie?
Yes, it will be. And I think it's a present for all of us. And, you know, Jay, you're welcome because I know you're helping us out with Nectar as well. And we'll get into that at another time. But I want to thank you, Jay, for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be with you fine people.
Thank you, Rich Shalanza, our musical director. Thank you for all the musical accompaniment,
You're welcome.
all the food, the crazy things that you do, shenanigans, and destroying the studio at times.
What
too.
about Art? Art gets a round of applause.
Well, that's where I'm
Art does a
going,
Great
and-
job.
Like to thank,
Okay.
last but not least, the man who makes it all happen month after month, time after time, the man behind the scenes, because he won't show his face on camera. Ladies and gentlemen, and Art, thank you so much for being on the Health and Wellness Show. Until next time, I'm your host, Marian Costello, here on COARadio.com. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Take care, people.
Here comes the sun. Do-do-do-do. But here comes the sun. And I say, it's alright. See you later.